Hi, I'm Orla.
And I'm Leanne, and together we are
How's your ma?
So today we have Cathal and Rebecca in the studio, and Cathal and Rebecca have set up different minds, same heart, and the tagline under that is different frequencies, same heartbeat. So they're both from County Westmeath, they're both autistic, and Rebecca also has ADHD, a range of complexities and pathologising that goes along with that, and I know we're going to talk about neurodivergence and that a little bit on. So I'm going to read their tag from their Instagram page, which is we both work in digital marketing and we're getting married in February 2028. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope you're safe and hard.
Yeah, definitely. So we have to.
And rather than simply celebrating their wedding, they're using the journey towards it to try and make a positive difference. So, Rebecca and Cathal, would you like to tell us what that positive difference that you're trying to make is? And then we'll go back and we'll explore who you are and how you came to be where you are today.
Yeah, so obviously, we're getting married and, it's a day of love and acceptance and all that stuff. We, discovering we were neurodivergent, it's a journey we went on together. We're both late diagnosed and we actually didn't know when we met. So having gone through all that together and obviously the highs and lows and all the struggles, and we just wanted a way to kind of not only help other people, but to start a conversation and to bring more awareness and education, I suppose, to the matter. And we thought, our wedding is probably a great kind of platform for it because of, the day that's in it. And I suppose it was Cathal's idea with the digital marketing skills. We probably could do something to make a little bit of a difference and kind of help a few people along the way.
And it was Cathal's idea to get in touch and have you on the show. So Cathal, thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
I've had a look through your Instagram page and Project DMSH.
The tongue twister.
Project DMSH. And that's how I was practicing it, but now that I have to say it a little bit slower, it's lost on me. So I've been having a look at, and I was looking at the 5 tips that you done for our hens, 5 tips if you're having somebody, hens who's neurodivergent, and I was like, I want them 5 tips. Just slow it down for everybody. That's okay, because the world moves at such a fast pace at the moment, doesn't it? It's just
So tell us what is the
clarity.
5 tips.
Yeah, so henparty.ie, they collaborated with us and they actually wrote them up, and obviously, from discussions with us, we talked about, because obviously I'm getting married and I'll be having a hen, so there was a few different things in it, like sharing the itinerary ahead of time, letting people know what's going on, kind of being aware of people's, I suppose, needs and that, whether it's noises or lights or if they need to take a break and stuff like that, letting them. But yeah,
the venue is another one.
Yeah, making sure it's accessible and obviously suitable for everybody that's there. So yeah, obviously my hen, my bridesmaids now, they're great, they all know what I'm like. There'll be no balloons or fireworks or party poppers.
That's one of the ones they highlighted as well. Yeah,
it's so simple. Yeah, so
Simple.
Group chats for going away and they're wild.
Yeah.
It's I don't know whether I'm coming or going, so I don't even know how to respond, because there could be 15 messages in before you even get back. So that clarity that people need, I think, and the slowing down in the world is really, really good. The world moves at a really fast pace that it doesn't need to move at, and doesn't allow everybody to catch up in the same way. But what we will do is go all the way back and explore yourselves as individuals. What it was like for you growing up. I know, Rebecca, we had a conversation around your mental health and the experience in terms of the diagnosis. And Cathal, I haven't had a conversation with you, so I don't know what that's like for you. So tell us about your younger selves.
So when I was younger, I was constantly brought up in school. I was constantly brought up. I actually had a child counsellor that I most likely had autism. And I don't know, so I'm 33. And I don't know if you remember, what it was 20 plus years ago.
I
about
do,
autism.
I'm that old, Cathal.
I do. In terms of autism, where I grew up, it was a death sentence.
Yes.
They'd put you in a special class where you were counting pennies. They wouldn't check what severity there was. So for me, I wouldn't need to be doing that. But I would have been put in that class. I'd been counting pennies. I would have been way behind, where the rest of the class was. And just didn't have the means, to do it at the time. So my parents kind of strayed away from it. And then it came up in my teenage life again. And
so sorry, I'm just going to stop you. Did somebody disclose to your parents that they believed that you had autism in kind of younger primary school,
So
and they
had-
pushed it aside?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
And
had,
did they say autism?
Yeah, they were saying autism. Now, the teachers and the principal didn't exactly know, from not being a professional, but they were putting them in that direction.
Right.
And then I had a child counsellor who was saying, we believe he has autism. Yeah, and then, I remember it was very hard to read and write. When I was younger, I used to just run up, I shouldn't laugh, but just run up and kick people.
Yeah.
And punch them, including
Yeah.
my granny, who's 93 now, so she was in her 70s
Yeah.
back
I
then.
hope you've stopped hitting your granny who's 90.
Yeah, I hope so too. She's 93, but she'd still get me. I'm not going to challenge her.
Clip around the ear.
Yeah, she got that stick as well, so I ain't going to give her any chance.
No.
But no, I didn't talk for a long time, and I nearly had my own language.
Okay.
And then when I was a teenager, it came up again in school, and as I was older, so I have complex PTSD, and I'd go to a psychologist, and they brought it up, and any counsellor I ever had brought it up. And I said, look, I'm just going to go get the test. It's been brought up that much. Every family member I referenced it to said, oh yeah, and they'd give me new bits of the story. This person said you should go. This person, you were diagnosed with ADHD. And I said, oh yes, I remember when I was a teenager, I was diagnosed with ADHD. There's so much happened.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep track. Got the official test. They said I have autism, and they used to call it Asperger syndrome,
Yeah,
but I don't
Asperger's,
think
yeah,
the
yeah.
word is used
No,
anymore.
I don't think
it's
it
all
is.
spec
Yeah.
autism.
Why,
spec,
yeah.
And then they said the ADHD is a common misdiagnosis for a lot of people. So in my case, they don't believe I actually have ADHD.
Okay.
So yeah, I kind of knew my whole life. It was brought up so much.
And what was it that the people who brought it up noticed, Cathal? What did they say they noticed, apart from bashing your granny?
So one was eye contact, I believe.
Okay.
So I tend to overcorrect. When I'm out in Dublin and busy streets, people are going up to me saying, what's your problem? What are you looking at? Because I'm overcorrecting.
Right.
It's
yeah.
almost like an angry stare.
Right.
And
That's my Penny Hill face.
Yeah, and I don't get any social
Yeah.
cues to this day.
Okay.
The teacher would be saying something as a joke, and I get up and do it.
Okay.
Things like that.
Yeah.
And, especially growing up as a child, I was behind a lot, and we just get extra help. And the school did bring in a teacher for that, and he was amazing, and he helped a few people. Didn't get a lot of things. I'll put it this way: when I told my family and friends, they were like, "Oh, I could have told you that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody was surprised, including myself.
Yeah.
And literally, I'd have doctors would bring it up. It was actually a doctor that gave me the push to go privately and get it. She
How
said,
old were you when you went and got
This is about
diagnosed?
6 or 7 years ago, so maybe about 26.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's quite late in terms of your
Yeah.
diagnosis, whereas you could have got some help and support.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
crazy
Had that
one.
been any
Because
later.
a lot of people say to me, "Oh, but you knew when you were a child," and I have to explain. I never got an actual formal
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you just feel because everyone was saying it, geez, you know what, I'm going to go and get this done myself, and then when you got your diagnosis, did yourself make a bit more sense to yourself?
I'd
if
say
you get me?
I always wanted to, and when the doctor gave me the push
Yeah.
and listened to me, the doctor said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I've always wanted to get it done, and
Okay.
it's expensive."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, look, go get it done,
Yeah.
take some time off work," and I did all those things, and I got it done, and it answered everything I knew. I knew this years. It was
Yeah.
brought up too many times.
Yeah.
I think if I started writing down every time it was brought up, I'd run
Yeah.
out of pages.
And did you feel like a sigh of relief where you're like, that's why I think like this, or that's why I
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And in terms of those, it was that's why I hate nightclubs and the loud
Yeah.
music and sound. And
Yeah.
that's why I found it harder to make friends as a child, and just didn't fit in. It took me a lot longer, I went through puberty, but kind of with girls and
Yeah.
hanging out with guys my own age, and I was nearly still playing with toys and stuff
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
all made sense then.
Yeah.
And when you were diagnosed, what conversation, or when you were going for the test, what conversation did you have with your parents who had known from the time you were a very small child and kind of pushed it under the carpet?
I'm just going to check. I don't think I told them, did I?
Not till after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
then
don't
what
think I told
conversations
And
did
did
you
you
have with
feel
them?
you couldn't tell them because they would have tried to say, there's nothing wrong, that's just the way you are, or You know the way.
Yeah, I did, to be honest.
Yeah.
I felt both of them would probably go, oh, this,
You wanted
this
answers.
bull crap again.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I'm allowed to swear.
Say whatever you like. Say whatever you like.
But they both actually genuinely couldn't have been more supportive.
Good.
My dad, who, I don't know, I think he had autism. He was so rigid at time. Everything I do, he did, basically.
Okay.
So many signs, so I don't think he ever found out, but I think he does.
Right.
He was lovely too. He's passed away, but he was just like, oh, okay. And anything different in your life now? And I said, no, I feel more positive. He was like, perfect.
Deadly.
My mum was more positive, and my mum has sat down with me since and said basically what I said earlier, and I do remember it was a death sentence where I grew up. You were never going to get an education, never going to go to college. You're going to be put in, it'd be called a resource class.
Okay.
And I even remember, like, people calling me, like, horrible names, if I'm allowed to say them. Like,
Say whatever you like.
Like, I'd hear even sometimes teachers or helpers saying, well, that's the retard class or the handicap class, you know.
It's awful.
I don't think...
No, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I said that about some of the classes because we didn't have the language for it.
Yeah, that's just the way
The
it was.
special class, wasn't it?
Yeah,
There was
the
kind of
special
always
class,
a
yeah.
special
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, and everybody in that class, I suppose, was undiagnosed or something, and it was just a behavioural class, and you'd go by the door and they'd be fucking wild in there.
Yeah.
Because actually nobody knew what it was that they needed or how to look after them.
I think that's the best way to explain it. The way you did it, it was just like that. And I don't think people meant harm or maliciousness. It just was what it was.
Yeah, if there was like a wild one in the class, or take him out or her out, put her in the special class because she's disturbing the other
Be a
kids. Or,
troublemaker.
But
you
then
know,
we had kids with ADHD, with autism, with complex trauma, with domestic abuse.
but you were
going on
just
at
either
home.
told you're
Everybody
either
was
wild
coming
or
to do
bold
that.
in there.
Yeah.
We didn't have the resources either back then. And I think people forget, like, well, you'll know this better now, like, with race and sexuality, anything 20 or 30 years ago, people were so backwards with everything.
Yeah.
We've come a long way in another 20 and 30 years with all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think in 20 years, no one will give a crap what you have.
Yeah.
If you're autistic or whatever, it's just, we do have another bit to go with all those things.
We have a long way to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Hell of a
exactly.
long
Like
way,
a teacher would have called us names for being black children in the school in the same way, in the same sense. That it was just, you were so different. It was okay to say them things. Racism was so casual back then that it was okay to call somebody a blackie, or it was okay to call someone a nigger, because that's what was happening at home. But the Troker Box ads were feeding it.
Yeah.
But the same with children with special needs or additional needs or whatever they were called of the time.
Yeah.
And little bastards is half of what they were called.
And troublemakers.
And
Yeah.
That
What
was
did
half
Tommy
what they were called.
Tiernan say in his stand-up? You were either a bold cunt or a stupid cunt. There was no in between.
Yeah.
Where all these kids like had needs and wants, but
And a different type of
and
intelligence.
it's not even that I don't think that the schools didn't care. They just didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
They
That's the perfect
they
way.
weren't kind of educated, and it like it wasn't spoke about as much as it is now. My brother has passed away, and he had 100% ADHD and autism. And like you, Cathal, the teacher would say, "Stuart, you read the next paragraph." She couldn't read it right.
Yeah, exactly.
And he used to mask us, so he'd throw a chair, so we'd be put out. But that was okay because his friends wouldn't laugh at him for not being able to read, but they'd laugh at him for throwing a chair, saying, "Oh, you're mad."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You kind of felt nearly pushed to do it.
Yeah.
And the same with dyslexia. That's a big one to this day. A lot of people suffer, never find out they have it.
And I think if teachers are listening, don't be asking kids to read out in front of their peers in class. It's terrifying.
Yeah. People would be laughing. And everything,
because kids are swines.
Yeah.
And they will laugh. And if you stumble on a word, you'll be like, she doesn't know. Do you know what I mean? But you get nervous. So I think they should do away with that.
I think it's just
Calling on kids to read out in class, you know. Oh, Cathal, you're the next chapter there, so I know you're trying to follow the book.
I think there's a place for it. I think there's a place for it simply because of presentation skills that you need in the IT world, the digital marketing, the standing up for yourself, that talking out
But
loud.
not little primary school kids.
Not little
like,
primary
do you know
school
what I
kids
mean?
that are judged
Yeah.
on their
you're like 5,
their
6,
phonics, even like as simple as that now.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, tell us about yourself and your own life.
Yeah, mine was a lot different from Cathal's. It's nearly like the flip side of that, where there were signs, but we just weren't aware. They were like actual signs, I suppose, growing up.
How old are you, Rebecca?
I'm 32.
You're 22.
Yeah.
21.
And a little bit's my own business.
21 in 2 months.
Yeah, so I was always like very well behaved, and I made sure like not to step out of line. I was such a people pleaser and like a perfectionist, and you know, I suppose now looking back, I'm like, okay, well, like it all makes sense now as to why I was that way in terms of like, you know, rejection sensitivity and, you know, just wanting to be liked and not wanting to get in trouble all the time and stuff like that. So I'd really like push myself, and I would mask so much to the point where when I actually first started going through mental health issues, like where it actually just built up to a point like in my early 20s that I literally just broke, because it was years of just like shoving it under the carpet, pretending it's not there and stuff like that.
I'd say that was exhausting.
Yeah. It was literally just a
the
breaking
end of an
point.
evening, you'd probably lie in bed and go, Jesus,
Yeah.
I have to do all this again tomorrow.
It was literally like that. Like everyone was shocked. Like I remember it was happening for a while before I actually, like I had to leave work in my early 20s for a while because of anxiety and depression, and it was like that. We were living together at the time, and I was coming home in the evenings and I just was not there. I would check out, like I could not, like I could barely even speak, and if I did I was just getting angry all the time, and it was just complete like burnout. But all my friends and family were completely shocked, because you wouldn't know, like you genuinely would not know if
you've done a great job.
Yeah, like
it's similar to Courtney, who was on the show, who also had ADHD and autism, and she didn't talk about it here on the show, but she talks about it in terms of then finding something that she don't love, but the masking, the pathway that she created is like, I'll achieve, and all of those things. There's so many people that do that. When you look at your masking versus Stuart's masking, like it's still the same thing. It's like, don't see me for what I am, see me for what I can do or potential in not necessarily a way that's healthy for you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like I was such an anxious child, but again, I don't think anybody knew that. Like to the point where you know, even my mom, like we've talked about it, like, and she was like saying like how she never noticed it, but I was like, nobody would. Like I literally hid it like so well. Like I didn't want anybody to know.
A good kid in the corner.
Literally, And then even when, you know, I was like experiencing like the burnout and I had to go to the GP, I was still like, no, but like it didn't make sense, because I was like, I've no reason to be sad. I've no reason to be, this doesn't like.
So you weren't diagnosed at that stage, were you not? You just thought, I'm a bit depressed, I have anxiety, I need a bit of break from work.
Yeah. And even then, I remember, you know, the concept of depression coming up. And I suppose it's like, you know, Cathal was saying, like, it's the education that we've got on mental health, like, recently is a lot better than it was years ago. Because back then, like, and this is only what, like 8 years ago, 8 years ago, I was like, but I don't have a reason to be. Like, whereas you don't, like.
You don't need a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sad, you're sad.
Yeah. And I suppose I kind of had it that everybody has these feelings, like everybody gets as anxious as I do, everybody has all this, but they're able to cope better than me. Like that's how I kind of was able to frame it. So yeah, it was completely different. And then
so when you went to the GP and you told them, was the GP supportive? Like what did they say to you?
Yeah, so I had a really nice GP at the time, and they were really nice. Like they gave me anxiety medication and referred me to a psychiatrist. And at the time, I was diagnosed with depression, generalised anxiety disorder, and what they told me was borderline personality disorder at the time.
You were pathologised at the time. You were given all of the labels that somebody wanted to stick on you, rather than seeing you for the emotions that you felt. So you were pathologised at the time, and we still largely do that with quite a lot of people through our medical system here.
And I think that borderline personality, they put that
There's fucking
on
no
everything.
borderline about you. Nuts
a
or not.
catch-all.
They put that on everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like, you know, obviously there is people like that legit have the condition, but for me it never sat right. And I remember going, because it was through the HSE system at the time that I went, you know, they generally go off like the DSM-5 criteria, whereas neurodivergence isn't really taken into consideration with that, and it wasn't even on my radar back then. Like I genuinely would not have, like if you'd have said to me autism or ADHD back then, I'd be like, no way, like, you know. So yeah, the borderline personality, it was like a catch-all. Like I had like certain symptoms that weren't explained away by other conditions, so they just gave me that label. But I remember being like, it doesn't fit right, it doesn't feel right. Like it never felt like, you know, it was what I was actually experiencing. So yeah, I just went kind of through life then again for another few years before I started seeing videos about people talking about their ADHD symptoms, and I was like, this is like, it's like they literally just read my mind. Like it was like so surreal. And I was like reading up, and especially how it presents differently in girls, and how I suppose, you know, the stereotype we have of ADHD, especially with girls and masking, is just so completely different. There's like the inattentive type, and a lot of the time we tend to internalize our hyperactivity. So daydreaming or doodling, where you're not disruptive, but your brain is not like, it's not concentrating.
So basically girls would be kind of more calm, and the ADHD boys, it'd be just like throwing things and kicking, and you know, where
to generalise
is that the difference?
Yeah, so girls mask inwardly,
right, and boys,
and they have all of this internal dialogue and internal stuff going on, where sure it fucks a chair across the classroom. This is the difference.
You hear boys being boys, but a girl does, that's not lady.
That's not lady.
I threw chairs.
Yes.
I don't say that, obviously.
No, Carl just kicked everybody.
Yeah, so I had known, like I kind of suspected it to pass like 4 or 5 years, but obviously in Ireland, like it's very expensive and it's all private, and even trying to find the information, like you go to your GP, and I remember when I first brought it up to my GP, they were like, okay, write a letter about all the symptoms that you've had since childhood and bring it in. Sure, you're asking someone with ADHD to do that. Like I think it was 3 months later, and I was like, well, I can't bring this into them now, like, you know. So yeah, I just kind of like I suppose battled on for the next few years until it was only 4 months ago when I officially got the diagnosis. And
so what was it like in your family up until then? How many siblings have you got?
I grew up with 3 younger brothers.
And so you're the only girl struggling with your mental health in a family growing up with, I suppose, self-diagnosed and pathologised by the state then in terms of your mental health. That can't have been easy for you.
Yeah. Like,
are you the eldest?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, that can't have been easy for you, because you're the leader of a pack, and the eldest parents are parenting for the first time when you're the eldest child in the family. And then I can understand why you were like, no role model to go, or no big sister or no big brother to say, what about all these feelings that are going on inside me? Because you're first-hand learning, as your parents are first-hand learning with you, and it's complex enough, isn't it?
And had you got a good group of friends, like, who you could talk to?
Yeah, so like I had friends, like I had a group in primary school, a group in secondary school, and a group in college, you know, where you kind of grow up with stuff, and they're always like very good and stuff, but I'd always be very private, I suppose, and I was like always afraid to kind of show who I really was, because I was terrified of being rejected, or didn't want. That's it. And I wouldn't really be kind of open with what was going on. And then there was the other side where I was like, okay, everybody else can function, everybody else can get through the day, they're able to deal with it, when in reality I was like, okay, not everybody like does all the stuff that I do or goes through like the whole process and stuff like that. So it's really enlightening, like, and you know, finally getting the diagnosis, it's like, okay, you can make sense of everything, but it's such a relief. It's like validation, I suppose, like for all the years of struggling, and it's like a path forward. Then, you know, you can look into ways, like I've been in counselling, like I think I've seen like 6 or 7 different counsellors at this stage.
I've been destroyed many counsellors like me. But the one I've been with now the past year is very good, and I've made so much progress with that, and I think it's because I had suspected since the start of that I had ADHD. So a lot of the, you know, the therapies, the coping mechanisms and all that was around neurodivergent kind of like coping techniques. So that really did help. And then, yeah, I suppose the autism side of it was I
was like, okay, the ADHD like did fit, but then there was some things where I was like, that still doesn't really fit. But obviously, like, I'd seen Cathal's experience with autism, and I was like, no, I definitely don't have that, like, because it's so different.
Yeah.
But then again, I was like seeing, you know, like girls especially, I suppose is what it was, talking about their experience where they had both, and I was like, this is like literally like gone deep dive into my brain. Like it's just, it's surreal, like that you feel so alone, I suppose, with like what's been going on in your head, to then have somebody nearly describe it to a T that does not know you, and it wasn't even talking about you, they're just talking about their experience.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it was, I'd kind of suspected it, but I didn't really kind of feel the need for going for an assessment, I suppose. The reason I wanted to go for the ADHD is because I was really, really struggling with concentration and focus and just the ability to kind of, I suppose, get through the day. So I was looking to access medication, but it was actually in that, I suppose, like diagnosis, like assessment, where they did a screening, and like you meet a psychiatrist and a psychologist and go through everything, where they did actually bring it up themselves that I most likely have autism, like Asperger's as well.
Yeah.
But again, that's another assessment, so I'm saving up for that at the moment.
It's terrible that you have to save.
Yeah.
Anyone has to save.
Yeah.
And the little you wrote on your report, what was it, the exact term you used?
Yeah, they wrote Asperger's on it, but obviously it's not referred to as that.
But yeah,
formerly known as is what they said.
Separate test.
Yeah.
Are you medicated now?
Yeah.
Okay.
For
Are you
ADHD.
medicated now, Cathal?
No, I was very long time with my complex PTSD, and I had
Yeah.
depression, and I must be off for the year now, which, Jesus, thinking, going back on that, that was one of the hardest times ever. Just
Removing yourself from
I'd
the
say
medication?
probably been easier to get off of heroin or something.
Go away,
Wow.
yeah.
It,
And how do you feel now that you're
it feels amazing that I did it, because the withdrawals you get are just
really?
the
Why
next
did you
level.
make that decision to do it?
I was feeling a lot better in life. The psychologist I go to, she's brilliant. She was noticing it too, and you know, every couple of weeks you do this, like, how are you feeling, and
Yeah.
kind of nearly do a little score, and it just kept going up
Yeah.
and up.
Yeah.
And I was like able to do a little bit more work and a bit more college, and we just kept noticing. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go off it, and it was giving me very bad like side effects. Like I couldn't sleep. I actually got more nightmares, which was the purpose of,
Yeah.
you know, to take it was to stop the
Yeah.
nightmares. And yeah, just a lot of negative side effects. I was tired all the time. I kept getting like bronchitis and stuff.
Did you reduce your medication, or did you just go
I just
cold
went
turkey?
cold turkey.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that was the problem. Looking back, you're not meant to.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
so it was
Non-advised.
it's a hard few months.
Yeah.
Took a lot longer than I thought, because I went cold turkey.
Yeah.
And then the
Well,
nightmare's
I'm
gone now?
Yeah, I do get them very rarely. Now it's more like silly things, you know, vampire, or you fall off
Yeah.
a cliff, but never any memories or incidents,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a catch-22, you know, with medication, because obviously at the time, like we've spoke about this, where we feel like Cathal genuinely did need it at the time. And I suppose it's because of the lack of access to services. So like the EMDR therapy is what actually helped Cathal like come off the medication, but there's such big wait lists for stuff, and if there's not a wait list, there's such an expense put on it that it's inaccessible for a lot of people. So I suppose it's kind of like a band-aid medication to like help people, I suppose, in the meantime. Whereas I do think like seeing what EMDR has done for Cathal, like I genuinely believe it's an amazing therapy, like that probably would help a lot of people.
The place I went to, like my doctors and the place I went to, they spoke to me about all the medication. Like you said, I should clarify, it's my decision to take it. I was warned of the effects. And that's not for everybody. I know a lot of people who took the medication didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I didn't go there, I don't think I'd be here. They're absolutely brilliant, the place I went to. It's okay to say the name?
Absolutely.
Yes, it is the primary care centre. It's stumping me now, isn't it?
Yeah, Renew and Athlone.
Yeah, Renew and Athlone. If I didn't go there, I don't think I'd be here right now. And they know that better
You
than
mean
anyone.
you'd be dead by
Yeah,
suicide?
I'd have literally shot myself or something.
Okay.
And they know that.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and they literally have made everything so much better. They, with the autism and everything, understanding, listen to me, amazing. And
And so did they work on your complex PTSD and your autism in tandem together?
more the complex PTSD, but it would come up, you know, in sessions and stuff. It's kind of unavoidable. Yeah, only for them, I definitely wouldn't be here.
They saved you.
Yeah, and a lot of the places, like we mentioned earlier, you know, you go to the HSE, they can't diagnose you with autism or that. They have to send you the private route. So in terms of like, say, with the borderline personality and that, I don't think I'm correct. They actually can't diagnose you for.
No, they don't really
it's a
go by
shame,
neurodivergence kind of conditions. Like as far as I'm aware, like when I did the assessment, like just must be 8 years ago now, it was just the DSM-5 criteria.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it? It's such a big umbrella. It's like, what else are they going to put under there?
Yeah.
But you could go into the DSM-5 and diagnose yourself with 1,000 things. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, don't look. Don't look. But you could go in there and find that you have all of these massive depressions.
Don't Google it anyways.
No, don't. You know the first thing I'm going to do when I get into the car is Google it.
No, like you could pathologise yourself with quite a lot of stuff that comes in there. And I'd agree that sometimes people need talking therapy or added support or to get out into nature and actually feel themselves again rather than continually having the medication. But Rebecca, what does the medication do for you?
Yeah, so currently, like, I've been on anxiety medication for a while, and obviously that brings down, like, I've been like having panic attacks and just like literally I was anxious like 24/7 constantly. So it does help kind of like take the, I suppose, ease it a little, but it genuinely is the counselling that like done most of the work, I suppose. Yeah. But it's only recently I started the ADHD medication, and for me, like, it's not like a magic pill, like it really isn't. It's like, I am still in titration, I suppose, so I haven't really found my proper dose. But I found where like getting up in the morning, like those first few hours where it kicks in, like I'm able to like clean the kitchen or cook breakfast or have a shower or just do simple daily tasks, like, you know, that like was genuinely a struggle, like honest to God, like, you know, the things that most people take for granted, like before going out the door to work, that was literally like a day's work for me, like trying to get ready in the morning. It took so much out of me, like, and everything was just so draining. So it kind of gives me the ability, I suppose, to be able to do that, or even hold conversations. Like there'd be times where I'd be sitting home and God would be talking to me and I'd be like, I can't even respond, like, you know. So just like little things like that, like, and I started at the end of doing my master's, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to be able to concentrate and focus, and it did not happen at all. Like, because I'd be such a procrastinator, like everything would be till the last minute, because I just, like, I never have, like, the push to do it unless the deadline is right there staring me in the face.
That's me.
Yeah. It's stressful, but yeah, it didn't change any of that. So I suppose that's probably one of the misconceptions people have. They think it's like this limitless, like, drug that makes you, like, I don't know, like super speed brain, but honestly it literally just kind of puts me on a level playing field, I suppose. So that has helped, and obviously I'm saying I'm still in titration, so like I'm trying to find my dose. Like I'm finding it's meant to last for like 12 to 14 hours, but I might get 5 to 6 hours before like it's gone, like the effects of it. So yeah, it's...
So does that mean your dose has to go up
so
you get longer?
Maybe not. Like I have a review coming up soon. So I suppose it depends on what like the psychiatrist says on that. There's like different ways you could go up. You could go on to another one. You could like split a dose where you take half in the morning and half in the afternoon. So I suppose we'll see what he says on that. But yeah, it does help for definite. But I think it's a combination of counselling and the medication, and obviously everything else that goes with it. I think there's no kind of one side, like one thing that fixes everything. It's a combination of everything. Are you the only child in your family with autism, ADHD, Asperger's? Yeah. And Cathal, what about you?
Your sister?
Yeah. My sister, so I have 2 sisters. I didn't grow up with them, but one of them has autism and suspects ADHD.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Cathal?
In my family, dude, nobody else is diagnosed or anything.
Does anybody else have the same traits as you?
I've had
like you did with your dad?
Yeah, like I have a few family members who come up to me privately. I don't want to say
here. Of course, you don't have to. You just out with her sister, but you don't have to say
that. No, family are grand. And it's kind of like when it was me, when they come up to me, I would tell them, yes, I believe you do, but again, I'm not a... But I do believe you do. But yeah, I don't know, just, you know, maybe didn't tell other people that. Plus, I'm a blabbermouth, so probably not good to tell me. I won't say it today. But yeah, definitely I'd say there would be people. A lot of times it comes from usually the father, they say. That's what I believe anyways.
Yeah.
And, but it has to come from one parent, I always tell people. So if you one of your parents most likely have it.
Yeah. Or I suppose that it can be similar to experiences of trauma. Children who had young, early childhood trauma, the motor neurons in your brain shift and change and are cut off, and as you experience trauma, your brain can't develop in the same way as other people's. So it can actually, complex trauma can seem very much like it's ADHD or that's autism. So I'm not surprised to hear that you have it all thrown in the mix there, and you're storing it around the cauldron, but it's complex in itself when you have a range of things and then you're misdiagnosed. And I think that brings me on to people who self-diagnose, because there's so much information out there at the moment, and I know that you want to get information really clear for people, and that's what your whole project is about, is making sure that there's really clear information for people who need help and support so that they can go and seek that. But at the same time, there's so much information out there. You can watch a TikTok and then you see a kid lining up a car and you're like, they're autistic. That's not the case. Actually, it's the depth of what's going on for any one individual that allows for the psychiatry departments then to be diagnosing children, or people who are overwhelmed and they're like, I suffer with severe anxiety, and actually you could just be overwhelmed from the family home that you've grown up in and the complexities that's been there. But you could also have a different type of brain development because of the experiences that you've had. There could have been a rough birth. There's a whole range of reasons, but I find a lot of people just go, that's metism.
That's true.
There's a lot of people self-diagnosing themselves, so they're not diagnosed. And in some of the work that I do, people come in and say, I think I have autism, and like, so tell me about it. I'm like, no, your mouth's a cunt. You don't have autism. You grew up with your mouth being a cunt. Actually, or actually, no, your uncle shouldn't have done that to you, or like those things happen for people. Yeah,
like you said, trauma just affects people in such a way.
And it's not an either situation, because growing up and not being able to feel the world around you in the way that other people experience it and feeling really different is a trauma in itself. So that must have been really difficult for you. And we don't get to just pick and choose when we're autistic or not, because you live with it.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, I suppose, like, we're hoping to get across, is because obviously, like, before we got the official diagnosis, like, I had suspected it for a few years, but as we were saying, like, access barriers and all that stuff made it hard. But the difference is, you know the phrase, like, oh, everyone's a little autistic. It's like everybody has traits. Like, it's a spectrum for a reason. And if you go into the traits, like, yes, you're going to feel anxious sometimes. Yes, you're going to have days where you don't want to be around people. Yes, you're going to have days where, you know, social cues are hard. Like, but the difference, I suppose, with, like, actually being on the spectrum or just having some traits is how often they show up and how far back they show up as well. So it has to literally be from childhood the whole way up, and it has to be consistently impacting your daily life, not just like I went through a period of this and then a period of that. And I suppose that's what kind of people, you know, when you talk about it, because they can relate to some aspects, I suppose that's probably why sometimes, I suppose, like, certain people's struggles get downplayed, because, you know, people are like, oh, but I have that trait. But it's different. Having a trait and, you know, being on the spectrum are two completely different things.
They're very different.
And you're born with it. That's the thing. Even though we found out later, like, we were born with it, and it came up so much when I was younger and everything. But I think, like, if anyone does suspect it, go get the test. That's over like €1,200. But you'll see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, like Becca said, and they go through your whole childhood. You ain't fooling those people, if you wanted to say, and you don't really get anything out of it, even if you were, say, false diagnosed. But I don't think you're fooling those people. No harm if anyone wants to. And I do think for a lot of people, I know TikTok and stuff gets a bad rep. Like, they read some signs, but they're like, what, this has been going on my whole life. Not just now. And then they did get diagnosed with it. And other people, they went and it was the opposite. They said, well, this thing happened in your life, like you said, so it's actually that. And then for some people, I know a lot of people who experience very bad trauma, and it almost stopped them from getting the autism diagnosis until later in life because they thought it was all that stuff.
Yeah.
So can I just ask, you're together 10 years and you met on Plenty of Fish. So how did you match? Like, what had you got in common? Because you both were diagnosed at the time. So, like, what's your common interest?
You can say, because I know what you're going to say already.
Okay.
It was really, like, I had literally set up the account that day. I didn't even have a photograph.
Oh,
and I got a message from
Go on, Cathal, straight in there.
No social cues, me bollocks, Cathal.
Straight in there. Go on, tell us.
Yeah,
You've no picture, I think you're massive.
Literally, like, there was no photo. I'd only set it up, like, a
So what was your
message.
profile? What did you say that intrigued
I
Cathal?
honestly don't. What
I
did I
can
even
tell you.
have?
Oh, Cathal knows. Come
I
on.
used my autistic brain. I said, right,
Autistic telepathy.
you know, if this person doesn't have a picture, it's going to get a lot less messages.
Okay.
And it could be the nicest person in the world, which it was. So it worked out well. Because you didn't have a picture, much easier to get the first message in.
Had you got a picture?
I did, didn't
He
I?
did, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it a nice picture?
It was, yeah.
Okay. I think she's lying.
Just
but,
checking. Just checking.
but yeah, and then I think a couple of minutes later, you did put up the pictures.
I sent you one. You asked.
And then
that was
there
one of
was,
the first things
there was
you did.
instant attraction. I thought, oh, it's very pretty, like, and I was even happier. And we'd after been chatting a bit.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out perfectly. But my original logic was if there's no picture, be less messages. And I kind of liked your interests and your bio and stuff.
So did you ask Rebecca out?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Is that a big move for you?
I probably should say yeah, but no, I just I said I'd just ask, and thankfully you said yeah.
Where was the first
And
date?
then we clicked.
All over, really. Part of it was in a chiropractor, which is a funny story.
Okay.
I always tell people, I said I sent her to the chiropractor.
Who's back here breaking? Huh? Who's back here breaking?
Obviously Rebecca's.
Yeah, it was like...
So I said Becca had to go for something else that day.
Yeah,
I was early. Wait. What wasn't it? I showed up
Yeah,
early.
we'd
She's
been
already in
talking.
it.
Right.
Yeah, we've been talking for a few weeks and stuff online, and then we met in person. We were meant to meet for like kind of like early lunch and stuff because I'd actually popped my rib the week before. So I had an appointment and it was meant to be just before that, but he ended up coming with me and then even stayed like, well, I think we went for lunch and hot chocolate and walks. Like there was about 3 days to one
We
day.
went to,
Like it was,
I
yeah.
know we went to KFC. Because
Yeah.
we wanted to crush them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do them.
They
don't know
do.
what
Kind of
Yeah.
like a milkshake or something.
Oh, okay.
They weren't that nice.
Okay.
No
It's
offense
true.
to
I agree.
KFC.
No, I agree. The Milky Bar one's awful.
We
Yeah,
went
that's
to,
the one.
the park. We went all around the park and the water, and we went.
Got food.
The name just escaped me. What was that restaurant?
The charcoal grill.
Yeah, the charcoal
Yeah.
grill.
So when you met each other in person first, Rebecca,
Hmm.
did you say, "Oh God"? I
I'd
think
lash him
that
over.
might-
Is that what?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, don't put that out, Jamie. I want to keep
did
that
you
in.
say, "Oh, he's a bit quirky," or vice versa? Like, what did you think of each other?
Yeah, not quirky. I suppose he was very confident. Like definitely,
Oh.
I was way more on the
Okay.
shy side,
Okay.
whereas he was just so out there. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to guess what he was thinking at all. But it was so easy to talk. Like conversation would flow. Like as I said, like I was like so shy and stuff like that, but he just made it like really easy to kind of like have a conversation. And obviously we had shared interests and stuff like that, so that helped. But yeah.
I suppose, because you says you've no social cue or that, and so you
Exactly,
probably didn't
yeah.
know if it was
Yeah,
awkward or that, and
exactly,
you're
yeah.
just chatting away, and that's making you comfortable.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'd say whatever came to my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
And I'd say there's half of our listeners that are going to be going dating on the spectrum. That's what they like. He just said what he wanted and she responded, just pure happiness and love.
Yeah.
Everyone makes the joke to us we should go and love on the spectrum. You ever see that joke?
Well, you don't have to now because you found your person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally was that. I didn't know. And then I was so used to masking everything, I just faked the confidence.
Yeah.
I'll just
Imposter syndrome,
pretend
yeah.
to be confident. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked. And then over time, just got more and more confident. But I was threatened because I think this is something that happened to Becca. So Becca has an accounting and law degree. And now she's getting, most likely it'll be a 1-1 in their digital marketing masters. I think a lot of people are surprised because Becca's very intelligent, and it's just been proven in school, leaving cert, the whole lot. They were very surprised she had the autism part in particular. And I was definitely intimidated by Becca's intelligence. She'd be telling me stuff and I'd just be pretending. But I think you knew right well. And then there's other things, like we both like wrestling, like pro wrestling, like lots of stuff maybe.
The WWF?
Yeah, lots
like,
of people.
like the old wrestling, the 90s.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan and all. Have you
Cena.
watched that Dark Side of the Ring?
Oh,
Love it. Love it, yeah.
Becca met John Cena.
Did
last
you
year,
see
her hero. Their screensaver on their phone. Yeah, a lot of interest there. We bought like superhero movies.
Yeah.
Well, you got me into them now.
Yeah, actually, I did get you into them. But I like a lot of things. Maybe people are great because I know a lot of people love wrestling and Marvel and that, but kind of the things when you're younger and that.
Yeah.
Still like the joy of youth.
Yeah, basically.
Those youthful things, play,
Well, so do
imagination, creation.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not hurting anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, come here, I was doing doublers when Marvel was coming out and I was like, Bailey, come on, we have to go to
But
pictures.
yeah,
12
but some
o'clock.
of the
See if
shite
it's before and
that's
after.
out nowadays, like, you can't go wrong. I'm dying to see the new Spider-Man film.
Yeah, we
have
saw
you
that.
have you
Yeah.
seen it? Don't tell me.
Yeah.
I'm dying to
No
see it.
spoilers.
Yeah, I'm dying to see
A lot
that.
of the kids come up to me and they're like, you know, there's 3 Spider-Man, and because I have autism, I don't even mean to do it. There's actually infinite amount. And they're just like, it's your problem. Go away.
So what's your social group like then at the minute?
So
Your social friends and your guests for your wedding, and that's, as you think about that, it's quite complex actually.
a lot of the friends Becca mentioned from childhood, you still be best friends, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Some of them are my bridesmaids and stuff like that. So I'd have like quite a small circle. You know, they've been there, I suppose, throughout my whole life nearly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I suppose you're the same, like small circle of friends.
Yeah, very
maybe,
small
yeah.
circle. My
So-
friends joke with me. They're like, it's hard to be your friend. You never go.
Yeah.
So when you both got you that diagnosis, what were your friends like? You told us what your family was like, but what were your friends like? Were they like, God, I'd have never said that. Oh, God, that makes sense. Or like,
My friends all said, like, seriously? And they all laughed and made a joke, and that made me come. They knew they could joke with me. There was no offending me. It's my personality.
Yeah.
I can take a slag and I give it
Yeah.
anyways. And,
yeah.
But not one person was. But I didn't tell anyone that went. And you
But
can
isn't
see.
that lovely?
Yeah, some people were like, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was mine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what were you?
And mine were surprised. Like they were very kind of like, oh really? And then like when you explain it, they're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And like they were all very like supportive and nice about it anyway. So that was great. Like it made it a lot easier, you know, to be able to talk about it. Like when the people around you are so like accepting of it.
Now, it's like for us, we see each other behind closed doors. So people don't see those parts to go, oh, that makes a lot of sense that you have X, Y, and Z going on like that. You know, we don't tell people, same whatever.
Yeah, well, it's like I wouldn't walk up to someone and be like, hey, I'm Orla and I don't have autism.
Yeah,
like, why would you walk up
exactly.
and say, I'm
Yep.
Cathal and I have autism?
Yeah.
Do you know?
But it's like, no, I mean, like in terms of the things that would affect us with autism and ADHD, kind of be in private,
Yeah.
up in our head like noise, and people wouldn't really see it.
Yeah.
Like they know you hated balloons popping and banging and that.
I hate that.
Yeah, and that was the
I
one.
think
where
all
the-
adults hate that.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
Not that fun. And every concert is just like
Yeah.
fireworks.
Yeah, I don't like fireworks.
So
either.
it makes it difficult to go to places.
Yeah, like kids' birthdays are just a nightmare, like balloons everywhere, and
Halloween.
it's-
How'd you find Halloween?
I hated it growing up, like the fireworks and everything. Like I'd be going around like with my hands over my ears, or sometimes I'd just be like, right, I'm gonna stay in. Like, but I did go trick or treating when I was younger. But again, like once they came, I was hands over the ears, or even like, you know, you burning turf in the fire. Like my ma couldn't like burn wood or anything when I was
Oh, the
there.
knife in the
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
hated it like so much. And I suppose like even just the anxiety of someone like holding a balloon, I literally can feel myself like just waiting for it to go. But yeah, like we've been to concerts recently where we actually got like ear defenders, and they're so great. Like they actually do block out like the noise of the fireworks and stuff. So that was class, like to have that.
The place actually collaborated with us. They're called Culture City.
Okay.
And they put up a post. I think we have a virtual meeting with them very soon, so hopefully we can do more. But we got them at a wrestling event, give them out for free with anyone with autism or ADHD in it. We're in Wembley, it was 97,000 people or something, and that just made it perfect.
Yeah.
And the way they work is like you can still hear the music and the wrestlers talking. We don't hear the crowd.
It's just muffled a bit, is
yeah,
it?
yeah. It just made it. I said to myself, "Oh, these aren't that great at one stage," and then I took them off and went, "Oh my god, put
Get
them
them back on."
I was like, "These are brilliant."
Yeah.
No, they've been very, very nice to us. Very good.
Yeah.
So tell us about your project, DMSH, Different Minds, Same Hearts. Tell us about what that means for you and all the work that you are doing around it at the moment.
Yeah, so essentially it's just that, like, we've been telling our story, I suppose, as a way to kind of, like, as a platform to, like, raise awareness and education. And I just think, like, conversations are needed on, you know, around neurodivergence, whether it's autism, ADHD or anything else like that, because there's so many misconceptions and stigmas and stereotypes associated with it, and there's so much, I suppose, bad publicity at the moment as well. Like, that's one of the main reasons we actually started it, was around the same time I was getting my diagnosis. Like, you know, like, obviously as marketers we know how it works, but you know when you're like Googling something, all your ads are then like are suggested, or so I kept getting like suggested posts about like where celebrities or people in the public eye had announced they were late diagnosed, and it'd usually be news stations like putting it out, and the comment sections were horrific. Like, people were just so horrible, like they were saying like such nasty stuff in it.
Warriors.
Yeah, and I think some of it is just like, it's ignorance. It's just people that aren't like educated on the matter or don't know what they're talking about as well. So if we're able to kind of, I suppose, put out there, you know, our story, how we experienced it, what we've been going through, and show one side of it. And obviously we're not experts, like, you know, like neither of us are trained in anything like that, but we've lived it. And I suppose there's something to be said for that, like, you know, having gone through it and experienced it, and to be able, I suppose, to just put out as much awareness as possible and open up conversations, you know, to try and help somebody. Because as I said, like, when I was first going through everything, none of it was on my radar at all, because I wasn't aware, like, I wasn't educated. And if it can help somebody get that help a bit sooner, like, maybe I could have got the help 8 years ago if I was aware, or even help family members, I suppose, kind of accept that maybe someone in their family is struggling with this, and to know that it's okay. It's such a wide spectrum, like, so wide. And I think that's another thing that, you know, we're hoping to showcase, is that myself and Cathal, like, we experience it two completely different ways. Like, it's mad, like, and I suppose that's one of the reasons why when it first kind of got suggested about autism to me, I was like, no, because I'm not like Cathal, like, you know. So just as much, I suppose, promotion as we can do on the matter to help people.
There's something in what you said there, and you're like, I'm not like Cathal, but actually you accepted Cathal for everything that he was. So what was that like? Because I'm sure people were saying to, I think your fella's autistic. And not knowing, because you were masking so well, not knowing. So there's something special about you that accepts people for exactly who they are as they present it in the time that they present to you. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I suppose, like, I think this is something as well, it's like such a misconception. Like, I'd be very empathetic and like highly sensitive. Like, I'd rather go through something myself than watch somebody I know go through it. I'd hate, like, it hurts more to see someone struggling than to struggle yourself. And I'd always like to kind of put myself in other people's shoes. Like, as much now, sometimes people annoy me and stuff like that. Like, when I kind of sat down, I'm like, okay, what are they going through? How could this, like, you know, have happened? And like, I try to kind of give as much like empathy and stuff as I can. So, and obviously, like, you know, with Cathal, like, it wasn't hard to accept him, really. Like, you know, he was like so good to me at the start, and
I stopped.
What I suppose, I didn't even know what I was going through. Like, it was a struggle, and he put up with a lot of stuff, I suppose, that people probably don't know. And
he's like,
so, but he's just a good person, a good soul, good heart, and it wasn't hard, like, but
likewise, times 10. Just from the moment we met, we just clicked. Like, we moved in after maybe 11 months? No, 9.
This is the funny. Cathal said I love you for the first time on our first anniversary. It took him a year.
Aw.
But 3 months later, we moved in together. So it was like really slow and then just like really fast.
Yeah.
I did
But,
clever. I did it at the Eiffel Tower. I waited.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
Well,
good.
There we go. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Would you have told her that you loved her earlier on?
I actually told her 2 or 3 times
She
by
didn't hear you.
accident.
By accident.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
And she was like, "You're after saying," and I was like, "I don't think so." And I knew I did. I gaslit her.
At the end of folk, he's like, no, I said elephant juice.
I said,
I
"Why
say that
did
to
you?"
my kids all the time. In a whisper, and they're like, "We know what you're saying." Elephant juice. Because if you do it, it looks the same.
It does.
I love you. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids were like, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So the big question is, what date is the wedding? Where's the wedding? And are we invited?
Of course.
You're the
I'll
bride.
be panicking, go, we better fucking bring them too.
I'll let the bride answer. I just say yes.
Yeah, of course. It is the 4th of February. I'm trying to think now. 2028. It's in Seagrave Barns.
Where's that?
I think it's called Doomnanny. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's in County Louth.
Oh, okay.
Just outside Dundalk.
Okay.
But it's so cute. It's like an exclusive venue, but it's a barn.
Oh,
So it's like real
lovely.
rustic and
Yeah.
like country
Nice.
kind of vibes.
Hay bales everywhere.
There's not actually
Is
hay
there
bales. No, but it's really nice. Actually, the funny story is, I think Cathal's mum thought we were having a hoedown as a wedding at one stage when she heard the
That was
barns.
a farm, like. Yeah.
But,
Is it a big wedding?
No, there'll be maybe 80 to 100, so it'll
Well, it's
be.
big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You open the doors of the barn and it is pristine, like the nicest glasses, tables,
like a fairy tale.
chandeliers.
Yeah, oh, it sounds
It's
gorgeous.
magical.
Deserve a fairy
Isn't it?
tale.
And it's a big, how do you say, maybe a compound or something? Or
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all like it'll literally just be us like for the wedding and
They
there'll be
got
nobody
pods.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cathal, can I ask you a question about the MMA that you've been doing? I obviously have brothers that do MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all that fucking Muay Thai fancy stuff just battered me around as a kid. But what was that like going into that, getting the coaching? What's that piece like for you?
in terms of the coaching, as I grew up, I did boxing and kickboxing from the
Okay.
time I was like,
Okay,
I could probably throw a punch. As I said earlier, I was
Yeah.
literally beating everyone up.
especially at Granny.
Especially at Granny.
And because I knew how to do it, not that I was strong around, but
Yeah.
I was kicking them in the shins and stuff. I was
Yeah.
hurting people
Yeah.
and hurting other kids. And
And I asked you this, I'm going to tell you why I ask you so you might help explain this in your answer. Because I know little children who've joined boxing clubs because their mum is thinking they've ADHD. It'll help them get rid of some of that aggressive behaviour, some of that lovable aggression that they have and get rid of their energy and help them sleep and all of that stuff that we think that we don't know because we don't know what's going on inside someone's head. And then the boxing club's like, can't be controlled, not listening to the rules. Fuck them out. They'll have to come back in 2 years when they're more settled. So it's a different experience for everybody because they're managing big groups. But if you're a small child in that, I'd like to hear about that experience so other parents can understand it or people who are going through the experience can understand
in
it.
terms of being younger, as I would do it outside of the club, but they would say it to the trainer.
Is that what you're calling beating your granny doing inside the club?
Fight club. And I'd do it outside of the gym, but they'd tell them. And they'd be like, okay, you can't be doing that. But it didn't really make a difference in terms of me. But as I got older, I knew, obviously.
Was it impulsive to you, the punching and
I'd
the
literally
running at
I think I
people
thought
and-
I was a Power Ranger or something.
Right.
Like, I'm not even
What
joking.
colour?
The red.
I think I thought red.
Yeah, and then in the gym, though, it did teach you discipline and as well, it tires you out. I think that was a big thing that probably helped my parents. He's going to come home tired.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be doing that to the rest of them because they would be trying their best and they'd be very patient. My dad would just be like so patient. They should have kept that man in the war.
Right.
Like, and he could be an angry man, but he just knew what. It was so in your face. Like, people were always bringing it up. And then as I got older, it helped me a lot and it helped me make friends. And that big time with the aggression, like you said, big time. As I got older, I went in and out of it. It helped me so much, though. Just mental, like, and just you go in and you fight someone, then you're friends.
Yeah.
And you could be two completely different people.
Yeah.
You could talk outside the gym and not get on about anything. Like, do you like this? No. Do you like this? No. Do you like fighting? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me all about the UFC or something.
Yeah.
I'd say you miss quite a lot of social cues around friendships then, because it's tight in club spaces.
Yes.
And you know everybody, and then when you come outside, I'm sure there's people you pass on the street and they're like, I was just fighting that fucker the other day.
Yeah,
and we were
yeah,
best friends,
yeah,
and you were like, do, strolling down the street.
I remember, like, one day I was walking home from the gym. I was only a teenager, and some guy started making fun of me. I was in, like, a shorts and T-shirt. I was all sweaty.
Yeah.
And he was like a grown man. I was, like, maybe 13. So he was giving me all this crap, making fun of me. I think he was drunk or something.
Imbecile.
But I turned around, like, 6 people were behind me from the gym, like, older.
Brilliant.
Like, what the fuck are you saying to him? Like, take that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, the camaraderie, and
Yeah.
they knew
Yeah.
I wasn't, you know, the same as them.
Yeah.
But didn't matter. And I never liked the bells or being sweaty,
Okay.
you know, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
sensory things,
Yeah.
taking off the hand wraps. Everyone would be like, yeah, and I'd be like, ugh. And the hardest part for me was, like, I did for charity a few years ago an MMA thing, and there was a big crowd out, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And I was more afraid of that. Oh, you're going to be fighting someone in a cage in front of maybe 1,000 people. I'm afraid of the announcer and the lights.
I'm not afraid of getting head
Yeah,
boxed
the
on
heat
me.
of the
No.
light. I'm afraid of that too, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to lie, terrified of it, but more afraid of that.
Yeah.
That's what. And then when I got out, like, it was so loud.
Mm.
But then the second the bell rings, you don't hear anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just goes away.
You're in the zone.
Yeah, you have to be, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I lost. He beat me. He was just better, but I'm not using the excuses. Or
You
anything.
could
He
have
was
said
just
that you
better.
won here and nobody
Yeah.
know
He was just better than me. But yeah, the sounds, the lights. But I would say, yeah, if any sport, get your kids into it, it's not going to hurt.
Mm.
And if problems do arise, the coaches are bringing up boxing quicker than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Rebecca, what would you say about some of the things that you liked to do as a child? What did you do?
A bit of everything, I suppose. I'd have like so many different hobbies that'd last like maybe a few months to a year at a time. So like when I was younger, I played like GAA, football, basketball. I was terrible at them all now, don't get me wrong. But like I kind of be in and out of teams like that. But I loved music, and like I was obsessed with Westlife, and
Me too.
like yeah, still am.
Me too.
And as Cathal said, like wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah, they'd be very much like my personalities, I suppose. I used to go to school with like Westlife lunch boxes and like John Cena hoodies and stuff like that. So yeah, I suppose it was just a bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear about you as individuals and then collectively together. There'll be so many people that will benefit from listening to today's podcast, whether it's thinking differently about their child,
Yeah.
thinking differently about their child's mental health, thinking differently about the labels that get put on their children at different stages in their life, when actually it could just be masking something
Yeah.
else, and the difficulties that they're facing. I'm sorry to hear that at one point in your life you thought that suicide was an option because you felt so different. I'm sorry to hear that you've experienced complex trauma, but I do believe that there are things that people need to learn about, and especially for people who are autistic, who have ADHD, whose brain functions somewhat differently, who have neurodiversity, because those traits, and some people are impulsive, some people aren't impulsive, the mask and everything is different, and different is okay.
And you both explained your differences so well. Like, you both have autism, but you're completely different.
I say, with, like, in terms of the suicidal stuff, and that was a complex PTSD.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't the autism, but yeah,
But still it
they
impacts
they
and
correlate.
effects, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it made it harder to understand.
Of course, yeah. Now, I'd love
So
to
thank
ask you
you
what
for-
that is, and I'm sure loads of people will. They'll be like, why did you not ask them? That's your
Oh, no.
business.
Oh,
So I'll leave it with you.
No problem at all. Thank you.
But yeah, thanks very much for coming on today's show. Is there anything that you would like to add just as we finish up? Any tips? Any where people can find you? Anything?
Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, because Cathal forgets the, as you were saying, Project DMSH.
You're writing on my hand.
But yeah, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram, Different Minds, Same Heart, or the email is projectdmsh@gmail.com.
And we do breaking the stigmas and making a difference. So We do highlight people's stories, organisations that help with autism. If anyone wants to reach out, we'll gladly highlight you. And if any organisation or charity wants to work together, as we've said many times, we'll do it. We're digital marketers. We're just open to getting the conversation out, breaking stigmas, helping people, and mostly getting people's stories out there.
Yeah, and which is very similar to what it is that we do. I think in terms of the domestic violence and therapy work that I do, personally, I would love to collaborate with you to see how we can understand some of the children and some of the adults that come through our services very differently, and help them to maybe understand like the tips for going on a hen's party, but the tips for explaining to somebody, because people will see one thing when you come to that service for one thing, but you're a whole range, you're a whole vibration, you're a whole feeling of different other things when you come into a room. So my name's Leanne.
My name's Orla.
And together we are
How's your ma?